Welcome back to our Global iTech Solution GITS-Playwright channel on lecture 13. Before we started this lecture, I highly encourage you to complete previous lecture related with this course. Let's get started and jump on the topics. So this lecture will be extended version of the previous lecture in order to create our keyword-driven frameworks. So creating more keyword-driven functions in our framework. Let's go ahead and see it. How does it work? So last time we left this work. I think you guys are familiar with it. So as you see, this is looks not good. Looks odd. All are using the import, but this one is in constant. Let's using the import as well as this one. Import utils from this. Good. Now let's see it is working or not. So as I mentioned to you, every time you change anything, so please make sure your test is up and running. So far our test case is running, right? Now let's delete this one. So we import our class and remove white space. And now in order to using the page the keyword driven functions, keyword functions into our classes, each test as the hooks, as you know, test is a hooks in Playwrights. Every test treated as an individual test in Playwrights. So anywhere you are using that keyword functions inside the test or in test hooks, you have to call that utils class, or you have to call that corresponding class and create an instance of it. So that's mean in order to using the before each test.before each, in order to using our navigation keyword from the utils file, this is the navigate to we are creating, or we are created for the go to URL, right? We have to create an instance of that utils files, and then we can use util.navigate to and using the /, and you can comment over here in this, right? Now still you have to use the await because of this is the asynchronous before each block. Now you change it to the keyword functions. Now let's run it. So it should be up and running, and it is look like running it. Now on the second test, same thing. For each test hooks, you have to create an instance of it, and you need to use all the keyword functions into the test. So this is the second one, right? And as you know, this is the extended version of the previous class. We'll be creating more utils like as a click. Like we'll be using a click functions. So same thing, we'll be using the async, started with the async. Let's copy this one and paste it over here. Let's use click on element. Click on element. So that's been also following the camel case, please remember. And for our click, let's go to our Playwright website and let's click on the click functions. And we're using over here is a click functions like this, await page.click. So we'll be using await this dot page. Also on the bottom side, you'll be seeing more example of it, right? So we'll be using over here await this dot page dot locator, right? Locator. And inside the locator, this is going to be our identifier of that elements. And then end of that, we'll be using dot click. That's it. So that's mean this identifier will be goes as a arguments, and inside your test cases, anywhere you are using as a click events, you can call that functions. Like as simple it is. Like you can call same thing as well, util dot click on element, and you are just using locator here. That's it, like this. So it will be performing click functions. So now if you going back to the utils file, this is a click. Let's also use for others. Let's say hover state, mouse hover state. So we'll be using the locator, same thing. So these dot page dot locator, identifier, then dot hover. So this is for mouse hover keyword. Then you can use for fill, like typing, fill input box. So you'll be using here fill. That's it. Fill, and you'll be using a text. So that's mean you have another arguments will be text. Let's use others, like double click, right? So you can use for, you can create for double click on element, click on element. So you'll be using here double click. Double click. That's it. So this is our double click. Double. And we can use like for all of them, like focus. We can use also for focus, right? So it says the focus page.focus selector. So you can just focus on element, right? Focus on element. So you can use the identifier, then no text over here, and you'll be using over here focus. That's it. So you just call the focus on element every time. Then also we can use, however we already did that, each checked is displayed. You can use all of them, but for now just let's use one of them. So is displayed, each checked is kind of like assertion. So you can group them together in the verification. Verify elements is displayed. Verify element is displayed. So you can use this. We don't have the expected test, so we can use is displayed. So is visible is this is it's visible, basically this one. Verified element is visible. Verify element is visible. This is how it's work, the keyword driven concept. So you just create a keyword one time, and you are reusing in 100 and 1,000 test cases, whatever you need in order to perform. And This is a // you can call as a global locators or a global data. Inside the data file, we have a data test data. Also, you can create a file called global data.json. And let's say endpoint or landing page URL, which is /. Now you have to call that landing page here. Same thing, landing page data. We'll be calling here global data. Global data, then test data, global data. And that global data, you can call it over here. Dot landing page URL. That's it. The test is failing. The first test is failing. Wow. What is the failure reasons? Click on element. Okay, so we don't need to click on element. So this is, I just put in for example, right? Okay, anything else? No. Let's go ahead and run it again. Okay, so all the test is passing, and inside the package.json file, if all the test is passing, it's supposed to be creating an automatic results. So its report is generating. Now this is a report, and also you can take a look how simple test suite and test cases it is, and looks good and looks gorgeous, right? So there is no hard coded. If the test case fail, let's say that you have 500 test cases. If the test case fail, you don't have to come to the test case to maintaining it, right? So you have to go corresponding page class and the page data class. That's it. You just manage the data, manipulate the data, and manipulate the objects or the identifier, right? That's all. And this is the report. And these all 3 test cases over here. As you see, this is how it is working. Also, like retries, how many times it retries, right? Based on the failures and all the history of it. How cool it is. I really loved it. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. Stay tuned for upcoming lecture for the rest of this course. Thank you.